Today we're going over the best tips and tricks to taking on CALTHERIS, from the best weapons to the best equipment and field upgrades, and of course some game-changing sleeper augments that no one's talking about. All in hopes that you can take on CALTHERIS with no overpowered Gobblegums, no exploits, and that you never die again. Now, of course, never dying again is a little bit hyperbole. This is still a very difficult boss fight, but with the strategies that I've discovered and you guys have shared with me, I think we can make your boss fight runs incredibly consistent. Starting with our field upgrade, of course, there is that Frenzied Guard trick, exploit, whatever you want to call it. If you run Frenzied Guard with the Frenzied Fire augment that lets you use stock ammo and you combine that with your wonder weapon, it will give you essentially unlimited ammo with your wonder weapon, and that just absolutely shreds the boss. Because this allows you to fire more than 6 UFOs at the target, which is probably not intended, I imagine this is going to be patched. But if it's not patched by then, if you do this trick once, before you do it again, you need to buy ammo for your LGM1, otherwise this trick won't work. But outside of Frenzied Guard, I am going to recommend Ether Shroud. It's a great get out of jail free card, and when it comes to the last phase of the boss fight, this gives you a moment to just focus damage on the boss. Your major augment doesn't matter too much if you're in a group. If you're playing co-op, Group Shroud is obviously the way to go. If you're playing solo, anything other than Void Sheath is going to be good, and I would highly recommend Extra Charge and Extension if you have 2 minor augments available. For our equipment, I've seen a lot of people run Monkey Bombs and Casimirs, which are good, especially at distracting zombies and killing zombies. However, with the sheer amount of shock mimics that I have in my games, it feels as though they get destroyed very quickly. And so I have been running stim shots, which allow you to recover health really quickly and even overheal, which can be very valuable. For your lethal, it's really up to you. I've been liking the Semtex, but this is probably the least important thing in your loadout so far. Now, this strategy allows you to do this without Gobblegums. However, I would still highly recommend at least some of these rare ones like Shields Up, Power Keg. There's even a use for Temporal Gift that we'll get to later. Of course, Aftertaste if you're worried about going down. Stock Option, Cashback are okay, but really you want to focus on your armor, which is why other things like Raindrops is good. Now, Armageddon is a new Gobblegum here. This will grant you an automatic tier 3 vest with full plates, but even if you already have a tier 3 vest, this will get you full plates, which in this boss fight is really crucial. And as strange as it sounds, Gift Card is actually somewhat useful if you need some points in the boss fight. I know it sounds weird, but this can be really helpful if you need to refill your armor mid-boss fight. And of course, Near Death and Perkaholic are good too. And fair warning, I popped a power vacuum in this boss fight and it didn't seem to work on the zombies. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to get you power-up drops. With our loadout out of the way, let's talk about our weapons, because this might be one of the most important things in this video. Believe it or not, there are actually a good handful of weapons that we've discovered to be incredibly useful in this boss fight that absolutely shred the boss. But for this video, I am going to show you the Jaeger 45 because I think it's unlocked from the start. You use it in Cursed, and I think a lot of people are going to have this ranked up. This is the build code down here. We are using the Skull Splitter barrel, which is the Prestige attachment, but don't worry, I'm going to give you other options too. We're using the Prestige attachment with Akimbo. I'm using the biggest magazine possible because this thing likes to run out of ammo a lot. And instead of the Steady Aim laser, this muzzle attachment, this mobility spread muzzle, actually gives you better hip fire spread than the Steady Aim laser does, at least according to our advanced stats here. And then I'm also running rapid fire. Our next weapon is going to be the Coda 9. I've heard great things about this too. I haven't tested it myself, but once again, Akimbo, hip fire spread, damage barrel, biggest magazine, rapid fire. I still need to test the Prestige attachment, but this says that it reduces all of the damage but increases damage range, so your results may vary. And if you don't know by now, the M10 Breacher is actually really strong. Here's the build code for it. Once again, rapid fire, tight hip fire spread, you know the deal. I've heard great things about the XM325. I haven't used this class. This is just one that I think might be good. Same with the Nova line. I don't have this ranked up yet either, but this is probably one of the best guns in the game. Be sure to watch out for a video about me covering it very soon. And the brand new SMG, the Kogat 7 with the Akimbo attachment, I've seen videos. This thing does really good work. And please let me know what other weapons you have found to be incredibly deadly against this boss. But now we get to the fun stuff, the game-changing augments that you need to equip. Starting with stamina up, guns up is fantastic. You're sprinting a lot in this boss fight. Being able to fire while sprinting is just phenomenal, and footwork makes that non-forward sprinting speed even better. Full transparency here, I genuinely didn't think about testing hard target, but we are going to run it in this game and see how it does. The other two minor augments aren't all that important. Juggernog, of course, running turtle shell. That is actually pretty important. If you get stuck in a corner, you can turn your back towards the boss and use turtle shell. Hardened plates, durable plates, gotta be the go-to. Nothing too pressing in speed cola. I love classic formula. I could see prestidigitation working pretty well for ammo management, but really it's up to you. Now for Vulture Aid, I know a lot of us, especially after the Season 1 update, are loving Armormatic. If you don't know, with the Season 1 update, Armormatic will automatically pull a plate from your reserve and apply it to your armor vest if you are less than one armor plate down. While that is fantastic for the general gameplay, because armor plates are so hard to come by in the boss fight, and you could always buy armor off the wall to put directly on your vest, this can actually hurt you more than it helps you. So I will recommend Smell of Death, because that Smell of Death does actually work against the boss and the zombies, and you're not wasting armor plates. Picky Eater is obviously really good, and Condor's Reach can help you with that, but the big one really is this Armormatic augment, and you'll see that in the gameplay. For Death Perception, this is big. Obviously, Sixth Sense taking less damage from behind is fantastic. However, if you put on the Hidden Gems minor augment, Death Perception can now see loot. This is actually bugged to where if you have this on, the outline outside of all of the equipment on the ground will disappear. The equipment will still drop, you can still pick it up, but it will not have that bright white or bright blue outline around the loot, which just makes it that much harder to see in the boss fight. So I'd highly recommend avoiding that at all costs. For Double Tap, Double Time I think is an obvious one. Double or nothing, just increasing that DPS just a little bit more is great. But when it comes to the major augment, we have a discussion to have. Double Standard does work against standard shots in this boss fight, but it also works against armor, meaning that you could have double armor damage in the first part of the later phases, but once you expose the weak point and you're just getting critical shots, you're not going to have any bonus damage. Whereas if you have double impact or double dealer, you will be getting bonus damage on those critical shots, but it's not going to be as much of a bonus damage on those criticals as the double standard bonus damages against the standard shots. So really, you can't go wrong here. Don't overthink it. I'm going to be running double standard because I find as soon as you expose those critical shots, most weapons deal a fair amount of damage, especially the ones that I showed you. For Deadshot, a majority of the time, I'm going to recommend Deadhead. Just extra bonus damage against the head is fantastic. However, with the Jaeger 45s, because they're so low on ammo, I'm running Dead again. But if you're running basically any other weapon, I would absolutely go for Deadhead. For your minor augment, I would recommend Dead Break and Dead Draw. Again, full transparency, as I was testing this boss fight, I did test Dead Break with and without it. I couldn't really feel a difference, but in order to accurately test this, I need a more controlled environment, so I didn't really find anything conclusive, but I'd be willing to bet this actually does work against the boss. So if you have two minor augments, these two are absolutely the way to go. Now, if you're looking for the real juicy stuff, PhD is where it's at. First and foremost, Gravity MD, just falling from heights creates explosions, is big. You are floating around, jumping around so much in this boss fight. When you land, being able to explode and kill any zombies around you and get that much more safe is fantastic. But the real game-changing stuff comes down to here. That's right, we're running Environmentalist. Not only will this protect you from the meteors in the first phase of the boss fight if you slide through them, but this will protect you against the purple toxic rocks in the final phase of this boss fight. Pairing that up with Tribologist so you get even longer of a slide, so that way you get as much time away from that toxic area as possible, it will literally change the way you play this boss. This is big. Shout out to everybody who suggested this. I got a lot of suggestions over a lot of different things on Discord, Twitter, YouTube comments. Multiple people suggested this, and thank all of you for all of your help with this. For Mule Kick, this is also a pretty important one. I'm running Pack Mule to carry more stock ammo because I don't want to waste points on ammo. I want as much ammo as possible, so I am going to use this, but free throw can be good if you rely on your equipment. The more I've done this boss fight, the less I seem to rely on equipment though, so Pack Mule is kind of the way to go. For your minor augment, fully equipped and Plate Hunter are so good. If you had to choose one, I'd go with Plate Hunter, especially because armor plates are the biggest issue in this boss. And you thought we were done. No, I have saved the best for last. If we go over to our ammo mods and we scroll all the way down to, that's right, Shatter Blast. First and foremost, Blast Chain, Treyarch Blast Chain is glitched, is broken, it doesn't work. Shatter Blast has additional explosions. It doesn't have additional explosions. So that one, at least of right now, is broken, doesn't work. So I'm going with Blast Repair. When Shatter Blast activates and destroys armor, some of your armor is restored, which is pretty good. It's pretty minor. You could run Blast Shield to temporarily mitigate some damage, but again, armor is my main focus, so that's what I'm going with. But for our minor augment, this might be meta, especially in the high rounds, just training, but Blast Through. Weapons with Shatter Blast deal more damage through armor. This works against the boss. Now, what is this damage? You know, Deadshot gives you a 10% increase in damage, and then with the augment gives you a 20% increase in damage. Double Tap will give you a 25% increase in your overall DPS, so how much damage does this do? Against armor, this augment on Shatter Blast will deal a whopping 30% more damage through armor. And the best part is that this stacks with all of your double tap augments. It stacks with double standard, it stacks with double impact. This thing is so darn good. If you're looking for raw DPS, this is the augment you want to run. For a quick revive, if you have a pistol or a ray gun, equivalent exchange is going to be great, but Dying Wish is fairly consistent too if you don't want to deal with the inconsistencies of equivalent exchange. Now, before we get into the actual boss fight, I want to cover saving and quitting. This can be an incredibly useful tool for you to practice this boss. If you go down, if you pop a Dying Wish, if you use a self-revive, and you feel like you want to just try again, you can actually save and quit. But be careful. You can only save and quit when you're at full health, so just be ready for that. When you save and quit, it will bring you back to the start of the round, so I always like to flip one round before I actually initiate the boss fight, so that way the Easter egg is completely saved, completely done, and the only thing you need to do is interact with the brain in Mars to initiate the boss fight. When you save and quit, it appears as though you keep all of your points, all of your ammo, your Gobblegum usage will carry through, and this is really important, any self-revive reviving things will carry through. So if you pop a Dying Wish and you lose Quick Revive, you need to buy back Quick Revive. If you use a self-revive, you need to buy another self-revive. And once you load back in, you cannot save and quit until the next round. So once you spawn back in, make sure you flip one round and then you have save and quit available again. But now that we got all that out of the way, let's jump in and beat CALTHERIS. So here we are loading back into our save file on round 39. I would recommend doing it a little bit earlier than this, because even though the boss damage doesn't scale, like the boss is going to deal the same amount of damage to you, the zombie damage scaling I think is in effect, and it's just going to be a lot harder to kill the zombies at this high of a round. But I will recommend at least like 30,000 points before you go in. I know that sounds weird, but it absolutely does make a difference, especially when buying armor. So now we've flipped the round, which I accidentally did, so I'm gonna want to get myself another self-revive. I accidentally used one as I was testing stuff and practicing. I would like to show you the full power. The free full power is right there. It can be very, very useful to get. The max ammo is inside of here to the left of the arsenal station, outside of the boundaries right there. Where is it? Where is it? Right there. There it is. Yep, there's the max ammo. And then I believe the max armor is just behind here on that rock. Very good. And so now we can head on over to Mars, and once we're here, we can initiate the brain and take on CALTHERIS. Now, you'll notice that I have this this AK here. It's because I have an underbarrel smoke launcher, which, believe it or not, once it gets initiated, does protect you from even the laser, although that's more of just a fun fact than anything useful. For this phase, this is basically warm up, and so in order to save as many points as possible, I would use the wonder weapon, though it is a little bit slower, so I like to mix it up with some weapons because the zombies tend to drop a lot of ammo during this phase, which is great. Feel free to use your Jaegers, or I like to use my Semtexes here. Once they're bunched up pretty well, we can use our Semtexes. Very good. Get a little bit of a charge going. Always remember to slide into zombies if you think they're gonna hit you. Now, once this thing is ready, like it just got right there, you want to wait until all the zombies are here and then the laser turns off before you come up here, because you have to use this thing. And so you don't want that to happen. You don't want to be using it while you're getting lasered. And that's also why I really like training down here for this step, because it pulls the zombies away from that brain. So when you do have to interact with them, it's not that big of a deal. Now, unfortunately, we are taking a lot of armor damage here, so I will be, dang it, I do think damage scaling is too much in this boss fight. Like, Treyarch, you need to, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. That needs to be patched, especially when there's no free max armors. Well, sort of. It's just too much. It's too much. Now, you'll notice I threw a Semtex, but because this stupid shock mimic is here, it really didn't do anything. But if you can manage to kill the shock mimic, then you are free to throw your Semtexes. Unfortunately, I will buy armor here because I want to keep my armor plates up. But if I knew I was gonna get a full armor soon, then I think this boss fight would be so much better. So much better. Oh, that's lovely. Wow, thank you. That's great. Wow. Now, like I said before, you can slide through those with your PhD slider, but man, that's insane. I've never seen that before here. And we got the laser. I know it's gonna injure me a little bit here, but I think we should be okay. That was way too much armor damage, dang it. You do get like 2 seconds to like kill enemies here. Smell of Death, you can see, does absolutely work against the zombies and the laser. Now, during this phase, CALTHERIS will occasionally shoot the arena with smoke. Now, inside of that smoke, pro tip, it doesn't actually kill you, it just causes you to go low on health. So you will need to avoid it. Like, you can avoid it on this platform and up there. I always jump back and forth between the two. But I have easily ran through the smoke many times before, so don't worry too much about it. And I believe I have discovered an interesting strategy. If you are inside of a smoke grenade or a smell of death, that will cause CALTHERIS to get locked and not do any attacks. We didn't get any laser attacks, any smoke attacks here. That is big. Not really useful, but pretty big if you are in a smoke during the beginning of her phase. I am gonna buy ammo here, unfortunately, but during this phase, I always like to start off with a wonder weapon because I think this is actually really good at taking out her armor here. Oh, you want to run away? Donuts, run away. I think this is really good at, wow, that rock is crazy. I think it's really good at exposing her weak points, and it's free ammo, so really good, but it does get to a point, as you're seeing right now, where it's just going after zombies instead of going after her. So it's, your results may vary here. Real quick, I do want to touch on these smoke grenades because yes, if you have an underbarrel smoke launcher, being inside of the smoke will hide you from the main boss and the zombies, but if you start shooting the boss, then the boss will be able to see you and it kind of makes it useless. But if you do want to give it a go, just be very careful because the low gravity makes the physics a little bit weird. I always try to use it at the top of the stairs where the ground is a little bit more flat, but overall, I don't think it's really beneficial. Now, during this step, I would recommend doing a lot of sliding around instead of jumping around. You can jump to create like distance, but sliding is just going to be the way to go. Because if you're like that, where you're straight on, then I feel like she can throw her rocks at you a lot easier than if you're moving like laterally. I tend to try to go in a triangle up here and then straight down to the center again. And then just whatever place she's not going, I'll go up over here. You can see how much damage these Jaegers are doing to her. Very good. And if she ever cuts you off when you're going up there, I always just turn around and go back down. Instead of trying to like run past her, I always just turn around instead. And then towards the end, you can use your wonder weapon or any other gun you have, oh boy, to take her out there. Very, very good. And then we get a little bit of time, kill some zombies. Hopefully they drop some armor. They haven't yet. If they don't drop any armor, I am gonna buy some armor. It looks like they're not, so we're just gonna buy it. Now we're gonna be getting shock mimics, try to round up everybody. And as you can see, oh boy, ow. So those ground slams, you can actually dodge them. You just need to be in the air. So always try to keep an eye on her, be in the air, and then you should be fine. Now, obviously, you could absolutely get some bad timing on it. But what I've noticed is that these Wonder Weapon shots just don't go to her as often as they should, at least during these final couple phases. Like, they'll just track to zombies first, and that's just not good. So I like to use my Jaegers with that Shatter Blast augment. Here you go, boom, there's one armor done. Come on, armor breaking, very good. She works sort of like the Zursa, where if you break one of her armor, armor chinks, she'll be stunned for a little bit. So you can use that opportunity to kind of just punish her a lot more than normal here. So we're gonna do this, very good, go up there. She cut us off, so we're gonna jump over here. Very good, ground slam. This is gonna be bad. Okay, good, we were in the air just barely for it. We're gonna try to get, look at that cracked damage, dude. That's crazy good. The more I've practiced, the more I think this is like one of the easier phases, because the rocks are slow enough that you can like dodge them fairly well. And she's a big enough target that, oh, we're gonna go over here. Nice, let's get this ammo. She's a big enough target to where you can land shots a little bit easier. Ground slam, jump, very good. Almost got her, almost got her. Come on, come on. Oh, donut slide. Don't take any unnecessary damage. Very good. Immune phase. We don't need to buy armor. Editing donuts here. I have heard that there is a way to shoot the rock out of her hands, and I'd really tried testing this a lot, but I could never find a way to do it other than breaking one of her armor pieces. Breaking her armor pieces will stun her, and I think if that happens as she's in the throwing animation, that will cancel the throwing of the rock. But let me know if I missed anything and I will pin it in the comments. Now, this gift of Vitharion here, ow, this gift of Vitharion is going to be very useful. Also, I think my augments are messed up, so I should have 2 charges of Ether Shroud, but it looks like I don't, so I might pop my power cake for that. So I am going to pick this up. This is going to give you free a max armor and a max ammo. I'm going to wait because I'm already pretty decent right now, so I'm going to have some time to shoot her first and deal some damage. Never mind, I guess just running into it picks it up for you. I thought you had to interact, that's okay. So now we've got unlimited ammo. We still have to reload, but we've got full armor now. That is our max armor. Dang it, those electric things are right there. Oh no, that's bad, that's bad, that's really, really bad. Okay, I don't know how we got out of that. You want to avoid the corners here. I should have jumped, I knew that was coming. You want to avoid these corners, and I will hopefully, well, I'm sure I'll show you that you can actually slide through these rocks fairly easily with PhD Slider and Environmentalist. In fact, can we slide up here? Okay, that's fine. Let's get her. As she's throwing those rocks, it's actually a good time to deal some good damage to her. Focusing on her armor as much as you can. There you go, little stun, that's great. Again, 17 seconds. I will say, remind you that as we found out, oh, she's cornered me, that's fine. Remember, turtle shell, boom, there you go. I'm gonna buy some more armor up here once we get up to here. Dude, that damage is crazy. Armor, please, thank you. Oh boy, very, very stressful. What we're waiting for is we're waiting for her weak spot to be exposed. Oop, jump. Beautiful, let's go. Okay, so Gift of Vitharion is gone, so that's just gonna be bad for ammo. I wish it gave you like max armor too, that'd be great. She's gonna jump up here, I'm gonna jump down as soon as she jumps up. Never mind, she's throwing a rock. There we go. We're getting a weak point, we're getting a weak point, we're getting a weak point, very good. And then all we've got to do, keep punishing her, nice. That's okay, we're gonna armor plate up. She's almost there, boom, ow, ow, ow. We've almost got her, Slide on through. We are gonna Ether Shroud. Ah, dang it. And in your Ether Shroud, you want to just follow her and just punish her. That was a really, really short Ether Shroud. I don't think my augments are working here. We're gonna shields up. Dang it, I'm so sorry, beautiful people. This boss is just not fair, dude. They need to nerf this boss. We're gonna do a full power again. I promise I've beaten this here. But we've got a full power. Oh my goodness, this is bad. Almost got her. That shields up is big. Once again, we can slide through these things. We just need some way of dealing more or getting more armor and more ammo, because this thing is bad. Oh boy. I feel so bad I used a Gobblegum. I'm so sorry. I promise you I've done that so many times without a Gobblegum. I seriously think my augments are bugged. I really, really do. But I do want to show you here, if we continue and we go all the way back even to here after we get our prizes, we can still save and quit. I'm telling you, I had extra charge and I didn't have 2 charges, and I'll have to look at the footage, but I don't think I was getting any extra bullets in my magazine. I think my augments were being really buggy. Now, if you are still having trouble in this boss fight, as strange as it sounds, I might recommend you trying this boss fight in cursed mode, specifically in tier 1, because in tier 1 cursed you have golden armor, which means that your armor regenerates, and if you have regenerating armor, that fixes a bulk of the problem with this boss fight, so in a strange way it makes it sort of kind of easier. And of course, the best tip that I could ever give you about beating this boss is joining my Discord, link in the description, and going to the round-based zombies looking for players, because there are a ton of people trying to help each other out complete this boss too, because man, this is a tough one. I think at the very least we need max ammos and max armors at the end of every phase. It is insane to me that this is a huge bullet sponge enemy that lasts 4 phases and zombies don't drop armor. There's a bullet sponge enemy that takes all of your ammo and they don't give you the resources to overcome that obstacle. The most overpowered thing you can do is pop some gift cards, get like 100,000 points, and just keep spam buying armor. Or of course, as you saw, pop some overpowered Gobblegums. You don't know how pissed off I am I actually had to use Gobblegums this run. I promise you I've done it like 3 times without Gobblegums. But with these strategies, with these awesome augments, when they work, this boss fight can absolutely be overcome. And don't you worry, I will be doing my walkthrough and my Easter egg guide on Astra Malorum next. Be sure to subscribe for that and check out more Black Ops 7 Zombies tips and tricks right here. And as always, stay beautiful.